Well, hello, 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 everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is Arizona History Happy Hour. So this is actually our 10th episode of this. We've been doing this for now 10 Thursdays, which is kind of exciting. And they keep getting, I think, a little bit better and better. Sometimes technology, we have issues, but if any of you are out there viewing this on Facebook, if you wouldn't mind clicking share, so that way other folks can find you as well and see all the fun we're going to be having, because we have a whiz bang of a show tonight. I mean, we've got Junior League coming on a little bit later, talking to us about some of the stuff they've been doing and some exciting things they're working on right now, as well as a little bit later on, we're going to talk about some Arizona music history. So my backdrop today is actually a little bit of a nod to that, as well as then we'll be talking about Ash Fork, a small community in northern Arizona. So, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So, and again, thank you all so much for being here. And, this would not be possible without sponsorship from folks just like you, as well as AARP of Arizona is a proud sponsor of this. And so the coronavirus continues to affect us all. We may be apart, but we are not alone. AARP is here in Arizona providing information that can help you and your family. And you'll see the web address right there if you'd like to go on and see any of their resources. And that is www.aarp.org/Arizona. So again, thank you all so much for being here. And so, as I said, we're going to be doing a little bit of Arizona, a little bit of Little Arizona. We've got trivia coming up with Junior League. We also have some Arizona music history and even my Hist-O-Cam, a little bit of something from my own collection. So my name is Marshall Short. I will be your host for this show on June 18th of 2020, our 10th episode. As we move on, now you might wonder, how does one get a name like the Hip Historian? Well, about 20 years ago, I was working in a library in Brooklyn, and you know what? It was really cold. I was ready for a change. I was sick of snow. So everything got jammed. Well, actually not jammed, more like one of those puzzles where you just kind of have to fit everything in. And so, into a big orange cube, a U-Haul, they have their International World Headquarters right here in the Valley of the Sun. And so soon after moving to Arizona, moved into a lovely 1956 ranch house. Now, when we bought it was beige on beige, and there were umpteen other shades of beige. I'm happy to say now it is two colors, seafoam and cantaloupe. And there is pretty much what my kitchen looks like today. All that gorgeous buttercream yellow tile with the matching stove inset in the wall. Now, if you look at that stove, what is missing? Some of you might say a window. And if you do, you would be correct. And so, if you want to bake something, you've got to so carefully open, but if you let it slam, all kinds of things happen to whatever you're baking. Your cake, your bread, guaranteed to fall if that happens. Now, as soon as I got here from New York, all I kept hearing about how there was no humor here. But I knew that wasn't true, because every time I went somewhere, I came face to face with so many amazing stories. And then there's that post-war boom that I think in a lot of ways made the Arizona that we all know and love today. All those GIs that either were stationed here, trained here, or passed through on their way going to somewhere else, after the war, they were moving here in huge numbers and in some cases looking for a house just like mine. And then we have this man, Dr. Carrier, the inventor of air conditioning. So, you know, on a day like today, we all are very happy that Dr. Carrier brought his air conditioning right here to the desert back in the late 50s. Also, the Phoenix New Times has named me best historian several years in a row, as well as Phoenix Magazine named me the best bespectacled Phoenix celebrity because I do indeed like my eyewear. Now, you know, you might ask, what is Marshall wearing? Because I became kind of known for my own idea of what I think looks good. And, as I realized, because it's on that collar. So, you know, and for me, everything has a story. And clothing is just the same. And so every year on February 14th, we have a celebration for ourselves. 100 years of statehood was what we celebrated back in 2012. And so they did things all across the state, including right in front of the state capitol on that February 14th. And so someone gave me 15 minutes to talk about anything I wanted to. And I chose to talk about one of my most favorite events that was started back in 1926 by Charlotte Hall. Now, if you ever make your way to Prescott, you can go visit her home, which is now a museum, as well as it was home to territorial governors before she lived in it. And she was also our first poet laureate, but she started the first Masque of the Yellow Moon. Now, it was first held at the El Riba Shriners Temple, which is just down the street from the Capitol, over on Washington on about 15th Avenue. And later on, it became the Mining and Mill Museum. And sadly, during Centennial, they got kicked out for something that didn't happen, but happy to say they're in the process of moving right back into this building. So one of my favorite museums, my favorite quirky museum right here in the Valley of the Sun, in a couple of years, once the building gets brought up back into code, we'll be moving right back into that glorious space. Now, right after that, it moved to Montgomery Stadium, which was our first stadium here in Arizona and had home to lots of fun things, including our very first bowl game. And it was called the Salad Bowl. I sure wish somebody would bring that back because I could sure sink my fork into a big bowl of that. And you know, what would you expect from the Salad Bowl? Why, none other than the queen of the Salad Bowl riding in her very own float that looks just like a salad bowl. And if you look close, you'll notice her spoon and fork that she can even serve from. Now, the Masque of the Yellow Moon ran from 1926 to 1955. At its height, it had about 5,000 high school and college students performing. It was touted right up there with Mardi Gras as something that everybody in the country should come and see. And, you know, it was woven through the curriculum so that everybody got involved. It was really a Super Bowl halftime spectacular before there even was such a thing. Now, because it was woven through the curriculum, here you have the debate club doing skits. You had multiple marching bands and really large sets. And so here they are building some of those sets. And it was also known for dance. And all the costumes were designed by home ec, made by home ec, but designed by students. And so I was lucky enough to find a few dresses in a box. I mean, this was a lovely late 30s Aztec inspired dress. And so I was able to convince 3 amazing friends to put those dresses on and join me on stage. Now, you might have guessed, or you might know, that I'm not a very good wallflower. And so I needed something that would stand up to those amazing dresses. And so I talked to my friend Glenn. Now, my friend Glenn is in his early 90s. He rolled into Arizona in the early 50s as a sign designer. And here he is getting an award from the Arizona Sign Association, being inducted into their Hall of Fame with 10 other folks recognizing the amazing signage all across Arizona. One of his signs was the My Florist sign, which hopefully all of you have seen, because it's a pretty spectacular sign, and it's still standing like several of his signs. Oh, Judy, I don't know why you can't see this on Facebook. Is anyone else having trouble seeing this on Facebook? So when I talked to Glenn, I was like, Glenn, I want you to paint me a suit coat. And so he painted a suit coat that was an homage to the Arizona state flag. And I think he did a heck of a job. Why, in fact, it actually got me thinking about other suit coats that should be designed by local artists. And I'm happy to say I'm actually chatting with a friend over this weekend about a black velvet jacket. So very excited by that possibility. Now, one reason why I always like to start off with this story is because there's so many places where I can take it. And one of the beautiful things is that a lot of times my best stories come from people. And so I was doing a presentation for the Arizona First Families. And, you know, when I was done presenting, a woman tapped me on the shoulder and said, you know, come over here. We went out to her car and she pulled this dress out of her car. Now, this dress was her mom's dress from The Mask of Yellow Moon. And she even had the programs. So we know this dress is 1928 or 29. So I look forward to getting a chance to meet with Norma again and go through and see exactly when this dress was worn and exactly what number it was worn in. But, you know, that's one of the things I love about this is you never know where that next bit of the story is coming from. And because indeed it is Arizona History Happy Hour, why we need a cocktail. And because it is Junior League today of Phoenix, we are doing their red carpet cocktail. Now, I think Blair may be enjoying a different cocktail, which maybe she'll tell us about in a little bit. So let's see if I can make all of this work. All right. So let me go over here to my handy dandy little bar. And so we're going to throw in some cranberry juice. And then we need some pineapple juice. All righty. So an ounce of pineapple juice. All righty. And then for what makes it a cocktail, we have a little bit of vanilla vodka to make it taste oh so yummy. All right. And then we have a splash of ginger ale to make it a little fizzy. And then we'll throw in some ice. Good thing I washed my hands. All right. And so there we go, our red carpet cocktail. All right, so first off, let's take a little bit of from the Hist-O-Cam, which you'll notice looks an awful lot like my bar. And so here we have, so this is the Arizona Good Roads Association Illustrated Road Maps and Tour Book. This is a reproduction of a 1913 book that was actually the first road map to Arizona. And so it's a lot of fun to travel with. Oh, and I just happened to turn it right to Ash Fork, which is something we're going to be talking about in just a little bit. But it's a lot of fun to travel with this because sometimes you'll come up to a place where it says, oh, look, there's a town right here, and there's nothing. But they also show you some of the old buildings and even some of the ads that would have run in some of those local establishments in those towns. So then let's. All right. And again, thank you all so much for being here as we are about to, through the miracle of modern technology. Oh my gosh. You know, back in the day, the Jetsons had their video phones where they could just beam each other into their homes. And, you know, and that's exactly what we're doing right here today. So, all righty. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, Marshall.
So, okay, so you both have cocktails. What are you both drinking?
So I'm drinking my favorite Junior League cookbook recipe. It is called the Freezer Martini, and it comes out of a 1968 cookbook out of the Junior League of Dallas. And pretty much you make a martini, keep it in a bottle, and keep it in your freezer and use as needed. It's a dangerous tool for those of us who like martinis.
I can see that. Very cool.
Nice. I'm drinking good old red wine.
Ah, very good. A classic standard.
In my Junior League red glass.
Well, actually, I'm in the process right now of trying to get someone from the wine community to come on and talk about the wine industry here in Arizona, which is continually improving and just booming right now.
For sure.
Oh, that red carpet cocktail is pretty darn tasty.
It is tasty.
All right. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves, or do you want to launch right into trivia?
We're women building better communities, aren't we, Jenny?
We are, yes. We are so excited to be here, Marshall, representing the Junior League of Phoenix.
I know, it's so funny. I mean, it's like having run into Blair. It's so funny because like anytime I mention something, she's going, that's a Junior League project. We worked on that. And
yes, you can't avoid us. We're everywhere.
No, which is great. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about how we run trivia here. So what we'll do is we have 10 questions and we will go through those 10 questions. They're all multiple choice. So even if you don't know the answer, just take a guess and you have a good shot of getting it right. And at the end of that, what we'll do is we'll actually go through all those questions and explain the answers. Because I have a feeling there's some really good stories going to come out of that. And the fun is that it's not all about what you know, but at the end of this, it's about what you've learned. And so that's the fun of how we like to do trivia here on the Arizona History Happy Hour. It just makes it a little bit more fun and not, hey, I know more than you do, because we all know different stuff and it's a great chance to share that. All right. So what you can do is you can either grab a pen and paper and keep your score for yourself. You can throw it here in the chat section. You can do whatever you would like, whatever makes you happy. All right. So what year was the Junior League founded? Was it A, 1899? Was it B, 1901? Or C, 1933? Or D, 1944? What year was the Junior League founded? All right. Moving on to question 2. What was the original name of the Junior League of Phoenix? A, the Arizona Welfare League. B, Welfare League of Arizona. Phoenix Junior League. Or D, Junior League of Arizona. What was the original name of the Junior League of Phoenix? What year did they become the Junior League of Phoenix? Was it A, 1931, B, 1933, C, 1935, or D, 1937? When did they officially become the Junior League of Phoenix? All right, so the Junior League, so back in 1937, the Junior League of Phoenix started their largest fundraiser. What was it? A rodeo, B, a pool party, C, a rummage sale, D, a high tea. What is their largest fundraiser that's still going on? All right, question 5. What city landmarks are Junior League of Phoenix past projects? A, the Phoenix Children's Museum, B, the Arizona Science Center, C, the Emily Anderson Family Learning Center, and I think that's at the zoo, or D, the Phoenix Art Museum. Which one of those is a landmark project? All right. Question 6. So we're over that halfway mark. All right. Which is an effort of the Junior League of Phoenix in terms of historic preservation? A, setting up archives with ASU and the Heard Museum. B, restoring the Rosen House. C, starting historic preservation task force. Or D, providing funding towards putting on a preservation conference. And sometimes that conference even goes online, so that way it can still happen. All right, coming into the home stretch, we're at question 7. What year did the Junior League of Phoenix get involved with HIV/AIDS education? Was it A, 1990, B, 1995, C, 2005, or D, 2010? All right, just a few more questions to go. What are 2 programs considered signature programs by Junior League of Phoenix? A, annual tea party and goat yoga. B, promoting volunteerism and providing training opportunities. C, health fest and public affairs. Or D, rockets and kids in the kitchen. Which 2 of those are signature programs by Junior League of Phoenix? All right, what is the current focus, community focus of Junior League of Phoenix? Is it A, providing education support to Phoenix public schools? B, improving literacy and school readiness? C, fighting hunger in the greater Phoenix community? Or D, human trafficking? Which one of those is a community focus? All right, and our last question. How many women are currently members of Junior League of Phoenix? A, 200, B, 516, C, 683, or D, 865? And I think, we might even have a bonus question coming up. And indeed we do. Which of these famous local ladies are Junior League members? A, Sandra Day O'Connor. B, Margaret T. Hance. C, Charlotte Hall. Or D, Josephine Brawley Hughes? Which of those ladies are Junior League members? All right. So while you're gathering your answers up and putting those all down, before we go through those, I want to do a quick jump onto some Arizona music. And so this is the cover of Valley of the Sun Suite, which was a piece commissioned by Frida Grafé, an internationally famous composer and conductor. And he wrote it for the Golden Jubilee of the Reclamation. Now, one of the things I think is really cool is there actually was a bit of a debate between whether it should be premiered at the Valley, at the Mask of Yellow Moon, by students, or whether the Phoenix Symphony should get involved and take it over. And you know what? The kids won. So here you had a world famous conductor leading a group of high school students in the first time this piece was ever played. It was also later on the very first stereo broadcast in Arizona, even before there was stereo. When they were making a recording of it, they actually had 2 microphones set up. They put each of those on different radio stations so that if you tuned in each radio to a station, you could hear this piece in stereo.
Oh, cool.
All right. So,
Sorry.
answer ahead.
Somebody's excited to talk to you, Jenny.
I know. It's like, they're like, hey, no, I think I know the answer. I know the answer.
That was my teenage daughter's friend. Sorry.
All right. So what year was Junior League founded? And it was B, 1901.
So the interesting thing is it was started by Mary Harriman, so you see on the picture there. But she kind of was a socialite and was looking around and said that she needed something much more valuable to do. So she got a bunch of her friends, one of which was Eleanor Roosevelt, and they started up what was known as the Junior League for the Promotion of the Settlement Movement. And the settlement movement was actually started in the United Kingdom by a woman named Jane Addams, who believed in a scientific approach to welfare work. So in this case, Mary Harriman and her friends were helping to provide education and recreational opportunities for children that were living in settlement housing. And I've seen this referred to as the origins of social work.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Who realized Junior League goes back that far?
Yeah, and had that kind of influence on a whole career.
Right, and society, and how,
Yeah.
Wow. All right. What was the original name of the Junior League of Phoenix? It was the Welfare League of Phoenix.
So
B.
Yeah. The interesting thing is what I have learned is that in 1930, 5 women got together who had all been members in junior leagues in other parts of the United States. And they decided that they needed to bring one in to here. So they recruited like 15 more women and started the process. And you couldn't automatically become one. You had to establish yourself and then apply. So they eventually got 20 people. They applied, became the Junior League of Phoenix. And that's the coming up question. And then the first provisional class, and provisional is what many leagues use, although it's kind of going out of fashion, are those first year members where we kind of train them on how to be truly effective community volunteers. And they had a class and it was called How a Social Worker Views Her Community. And of course they were raising money. So they held events at the Westward Ho. And my favorite part is they did a fashion show, which, and this is a direct quote, included a lovely interpretive dance by the president, Mrs. Blumhart, who wore a somewhat abbreviated costume of infinitesimal white ostrich feathers.
Wow.
I don't know what to have in my mind, but I think it's all kinds of awesome.
That is awesome.
I completely agree with you. Oh my gosh. I wish we could see that right now. That would be an amazing bit of film footage. All right, question 3. What year did they become the Junior League of Phoenix? And it was C, 1935.
Yeah, it would have been earlier, but we were actually rejected by our first application. We had the women from the national organization, and they stayed at the Biltmore Hotel. And they showed them around, but I think, Phoenix was so different geographically than any of the big cities that they didn't see how the city could grow. So they didn't think it would be a good fit. So they had to appeal that and explain that, you saw a very small portion, but there's so much more to this valley. There, we had mesa and everything. So finally we won that appeal, and we got a telegram in February of 1935. So that's our official start date. And then one of the cool things is one of our first programs at that time is this was during the Dust Bowl. So we had all of these families moving and homeless and nothing. And a lot of them, their cars broke down here, which is one of the ways I understand that Buckeye became a place. But a lot of them kind of camped out under the bridges in Tempe, kind of those two bridges that are there now. And so the women of that Junior League of Phoenix and the Welfare League, that was one of their big jobs, was to go there and make sure those kids continued to get an education.
Wow.
And so we're celebrating our 85th anniversary right now. Just that's, we have our little logo there. We're celebrating it all year. Keep it going. Yeah.
And it's also secretly our 90th too, which historian in me is like.
So it's got like the fake ID that makes it a little bit younger. All right. So 1937, the Junior League of Phoenix started their largest fundraiser. What was it?
It was most definitely our rummage sale, which still goes on today.
And where does it take place?
Jenny?
At the Arizona State Fairgrounds Exhibition Hall. And
it's huge.
It's massive. And we have over 3,000 people that come through, and we have over 20 departments. You can pretty much get anything at the rummage sale.
And that rummage sale really helps us make sure that we can put money back in the community. That very first year, it went to support providing milk for kids in school. Remember, again, this was the early 30s, so there was a lot of problems going on, especially because of the Dust Bowl. So there was a real sense of protecting our children then, too. But they did a lot of other fundraisers, too, Marshall, I should add. They used to do a lot of plays. Barry Goldwater was even in one of our plays, I believe, he was in a melodrama and played the villain. I've been looking for pictures of this so much because Barry Goldwater has been kind of interesting in my own family's history too. So he used to do ham radio phone calls when I was growing up in South America. He would patch them in so we could do relay phone calls.
Oh,
and I
wow.
could talk to my grandparents.
Oh, very cool. All right, question 5. What city landmarks are JPL past projects?
Yeah,
so A.
The Children's Museum, and they just celebrated their 12th anniversary, and we were a big part of helping them get that started. And I remember being there that day, and it was very exciting for us and for them and for children of Phoenix. So
yeah, that was my first leadership position in the league, was chairing what they called the Museum Without Walls, because they didn't have the building done yet. So we would go around and do these exhibits in different parts of town.
That was my first position too, Blair.
Really?
Yeah, first committee and my very first leadership. It's dear to our hearts.
Yes.
And what a fun museum. Even as an adult, it's fun to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that they do different events there so that you can actually have a cocktail and wander around the Children's Museum, which is a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And it's not just A, but look at that. It's also B, the Arizona Science Center.
Yes. So, and this one was interesting. I've talked to a few of the members who were kind of involved with this. And, I've always been impressed with their commitment to making sure that there were things to engage families, people of all ages, better said, because the Science Center does great projects for everyone.
And again, they also do adult nights out at the Science Center, which is a lot of fun as well.
They do, and those are fun.
But oh my gosh, and even see the Emily Anderson Family Learning Center.
So this, you actually have two. The woman in the picture is from when we opened the Education Center at the Phoenix Zoo. So it's different. The Emily Anderson Family Center, Jenny, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this is in the Children's Hospital, and it's a opportunity to get lots of different information for families about cancer specifically, Blair, or all types of?
No, it's all diseases. It's
all different diseases that affect children. And
it's not just children. I mean, anybody that needs access to scientific information about whatever they're going through has access to this library. You know, I'm not sure what's going on now with COVID, but, you know, it's one of those places where I think families can find hope and learn about what is happening to their children when you get scary names thrown at you. It's a very special project.
No, I would believe that. I mean, as a librarian, I agree. Access to information is crucial in so many ways.
Yeah.
All right, and D. So, the Phoenix Art Museum was also a past project.
Yeah,
that was kind of a trick question, right?
Yeah, it was a totally trick question.
It didn't matter what you put, you got it right.
You all got it right.
So they actually did. They you know, they were really involved in the museum, but they used to take art to all the schools, and they were kind of the first docent program that was there. And I thought I loved this picture because I thought it illustrated all of these paintings there would be taken to schools and the kids could see the actual paintings. That program sunsetted, but you know I think it's alive and well in the way that the museum is making sure that the public has access to their fabulous pieces.
Right, and they also do a lot of youth projects.
Yes.
So it's not just come look at art, but also it's like get your hands dirty. And
Absolutely.
I mean, one of my favorite rooms is the kids area.
Yes. Well,
so that's always a lot of fun.
The adult area in my book.
Completely, I agree. I love it when they make art interactive.
Yes.
All right. And so question 6.
So this was another trick question. We did all of those things. We set up archives in cooperation with the ASU. That project got turned over to the Heard Museum. It was a project called, I believe, Living Old Arizona. Then we worked on restoring the Rawson House, which I must have misspelled. Let's see, we started a historic preservation task force, which I heard our current state historic preservation officer, Catherine, mention. So they remember that we did this. And then we also helped them put on that first conference. And so I'm particularly proud of this. I think that those women did an amazing job in doing those first steps and making sure that Arizona history got saved.
And that conference is going on right now. It actually was today, and it was today and virtual. So that way you could click on, and from wherever you were at, you could attend the conference.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. So what year did the Junior League of Phoenix get involved with HIV/AIDS education?
So AIDS had been on the radar for a while. Several members had family members who were diagnosed with AIDS or had HIV. And yet it was one of those things that was really hard to get moved, especially during that time. But I made sure that this got included because I wanted to highlight the tenacity of our members, that when something hard to talk about comes up, that we stick through it and we make sure it happens. And so we were able to start a program where we talked about women and children who were diagnosed with HIV, which for some women that seemed much more palatable. But what that did was it allowed us to do several things. One was bring in a woman named Mary Fisher, who was an HIV positive conservative Republican woman who spoke at, I believe, the Republican convention. And they brought her into town. This poor woman, they made her do a radio show. They had they bussed kids from schools in to do a conference. And then they set up a cocktail hour. And it was the first time that an Arizona governor had been put in a situation where he needed to talk about HIV. And I believe the governor at the time was Fife Symington. So, but I think for me, what was more important is that because of this, we were able to start talking about HIV in schools, because nobody was threatened by these ladies with pearls to go in. And this, I think, was one of the big hat tips to one of our members, Catherine Sakala, because she fought in the loving memory of her brother who passed away from AIDS, and whom she loved dearly. And I love that you found a picture of our square on the AIDS quilt.
Indeed, I had to do some digging, and I was like, and then I found the actual square. I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is that?
Thank you. I'm so glad you did.
Oh yeah, no, it was my pleasure. I mean, Catherine is amazing.
She is an amazing, and I had such a great conversation with her about this too.
Very cool. I will have to hit her up. I didn't realize that she was that involved with this back then. So I will definitely be hitting her up for a whole other project.
Well, she's also a member of the First Families, Marshall, so she has a lot of history here.
I didn't realize she was a member of First Families. How did I miss that?
She was at the time when you went to go and speak. So yeah, there's a lot of things to talk with her. She's a really great woman, and she runs a great organization too. Junior Achievement for all of you out there. Okay.
So what two programs are considered signature programs by Junior League of Phoenix?
So we have
Rockets and Kids in the Kitchen.
We actually have 3 signature programs, but 2 of them are Rockets, which is raising our children's knowledge and education through science. Got that down. And Kids in the Kitchen, which is teaching kids about healthy eating habits and trying to instill some healthy eating in kids. So we also have a newer program, which is Health Fest, which I know you put in there as one of the options. So that is a partnership with the city of Phoenix. And this will be our 2nd year partnering with them this year.
Yeah, I was trying to help people. and Health Fest,
that one. But it's Phoenix Food Day and Health Fest.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and these are programs that are developed and run by the Junior League of Phoenix.
And then what is the current community focus of Junior League of Phoenix?
So our current focus area as of this year is fighting hunger in greater Phoenix community. We're excited to partner with Harvest Compassion Center and St. Vincent de Paul on 2 new programs this year. And we're just diving in.
Yeah, and with Black Lives Matter being such a big topic right now, I think that we tend to lose focus that hunger and things like food deserts are actually considered to be byproducts of institutional racism. So, it's not something that's outside of us trying to make a big, huge difference in any way we can.
All right. And how many women are currently members of Junior League of Phoenix?
Okay, Marshall. The true number is now 866. I looked this morning. There is one more.
So we're actually that will continue to rise because we are right now putting together, like Blair mentioned, we have our provisional class, which is our new members that are joining. And that is just happening right now. So if anyone is interested in joining the Junior League of Phoenix, now is a great time to do it because we're just putting that class together to start their year of learning and getting to know the Junior League of Phoenix and everything that we do and how they can develop their potential as women leaders. So hopefully that number will continue to rise over
It most definitely will continue to rise.
So then, is it only women that can be involved?
Well, I think women are members, but we never say no to men. As a matter of fact, Marshall, you are one of our community ambassadors.
It was a plant question.
So, yes, Marshall is one of our community ambassadors, which welcome to anyone to join us and anyone from the community who wants to be a little bit more involved with Junior League and help guide us and advise us and do what Marshall's doing, share about Junior League, because we want everyone to know about. It's sort of been referred to as like the best kept secret in Phoenix, and we don't want to be a secret. We want everyone to know about Junior League of Phoenix and be a part of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
All right, and then we do have our bonus question. And of those ladies, the two that are Junior League members, Sarah O'Connor and Margaret T. Hance.
And they're actually past presidents, just like Jenny. So Jenny is an awesome company.
Yeah. Maybe someday I'll be a trivia question. Who knows?
You probably will be. Maybe by the end of the year, you never know.
But in a good way.
Yeah, no, because I know Margaret Hance was mayor. Actually, one of the first shows we did, we actually had Laura on from the Orpheum, and I know Margaret Hance was very involved with preserving and saving.
Yes,
the Orpheum Theater.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of our pride and joys is the Orpheum Theater and our involvement.
Yeah, a lot of the members that worked it remained as docents for a long time. Oh, look, Marshall, I have to do a shout out. One, at my mom, but two, Nancy Adams Barnes. She actually served on Sandra Day's board, and she tells this fabulous story about the first board meeting when she pulls out a box and she starts pulling out different hats and talking about how many different hats we have to wear as members in the community. It's a great story, and I'm so glad that Nancy shared that with me.
Blair, you're just a wealth of knowledge. It's amazing. I'm learning much from you all the time.
I love that Sandra Day O'Connor's house is now at the Arizona Heritage Center. Yes. So you can actually go visit a modern adobe that was relocated, which I love the fact that they preserved her house.
Which
and it's become a whole place.
Sorry. Just down the street from the Eisendrath, which you just talked about too.
I know, with Kim. Oh my gosh, I love the Eisendrath so much. So,
and Kim is a Junior League member, so she, we're everywhere doing great things.
I know. I loved as we were talking to Kim. It's like she was actually in Alpine, a little tiny town, kind of so over on the border, which was really kind of fun. So, I know it's on my bucket list of places to get to in Arizona because it sounds like such a fun place.
It's a gorgeous place, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jenny, do you want to talk about anything about kind of what you all are doing for the anniversary? Are there any special things?
So we actually, yes, we donated $85,000 in honor of our 85th anniversary to Phoenix Rescue Mission for them to build a mobile food pantry. So they kind of retrofitted a truck to be air conditioned so they can bring cool food out to those who need it. So we're very proud of that. Fits with our focus of food insecurity for sure.
Yeah,
and then
food deserts too.
Yep. So it'll go to food deserts. And then we had a small celebration at the kind of unveiling of the truck on our actual anniversary. So that was very exciting for us.
Oh,
And
nice.
then we're just kind of celebrating all year, sharing a lot of our history. Like, this is perfect because this is a great opportunity to share our rich 85, well, 90, right, Blair, years in Phoenix. So we've just kind of been highlighting some of the things we've been doing throughout our time. So we're just going to keep it going and keep sharing about Junior League of Phoenix because we're very proud.
I just wish we had to bring back some of the follies. They used to do follies and put on plays and would write their own music for these things too. So
wow,
kind of fun. It's like the Mask of the Yellow Moon, which, by the way, my grandmother used to do. But it would be so much fun to see how much talent we actually have.
It would have to be virtually on Zoom. So
isn't that the truth? Yeah,
that would be interesting for sure.
A Junior League talent show, Jenny.
But we are definitely, we're keeping it live and well. We're doing all of our meetings virtually right now. We're trying to stay connected and keep moving and move our mission forward, even though we can't really be together. And so we've been adapting and moving forward. So we still have a great year to look forward to.
Oh, very much. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah,
whether it's virtual or not.
So, Martin, I want to put this on the air. My aunt is an artist. She did it's a bear behind me. So we need to get you something that she paints too, because she's pretty well known locally as well.
Oh.
So I'm volunteering her right now.
What can she do? She's right on the chat.
No, that my mom is on the chat.
Well, you called her out, so now it has to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, darn. Very cool. Well, Blair and Jenny, thank you so much for coming on and sharing Junior League and that rich history.
Well, thank you, Marshall. Like, you're the best. You're awesome. Thank you for being a great community ambassador. And if anyone out there wants to learn more about Junior League, go to jlp.org.
Yes, we'd love to have you join our effort in making the Valley a better place.
Indeed. All right, ladies, thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
Thanks, Anco.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. I didn't realize how long Junior League had been involved with Phoenix as well as even in the country, and helping to evolve the whole idea of social work. Wow. That's the fun of these things is there's always more stuff to learn. So let's give a big round of applause for Jenny and Blair for bringing us history of Junior League, because we never know enough. All right. So now we move on to Little Arizona. So, I grew up in a small town of about 25 people and then moved to New York City and then Phoenix. And so for me, the part of the fun of being in Arizona is not just living in the fifth largest city in the country, but also having access to so many quirky, fun, small towns across Arizona that have their own flavor and just are truly unique and have a really interesting history. So today we're going to talk about Ash Fork, which is a little town that originally was actually on Route 66, but even goes back further than that. Back in the 1890s, actually even earlier than that, it was kind of a place where trappers, as well as the railroad, you even have American Indians that were part of that. The Spanish conquistadors came through there. It really got its first kind of leg up when the railroad came through. First, it was Atlantic Pacific, and then it became the Santa Fe Railroad. Now, the town currently, which is in Yavapai County, has just under 400 residents. So not a big town at all. And in the late 1890s, it actually burnt down to the ground. And the town decided that they would walk across the railroad tracks and rebuild. And that's actually what they did. And so that's where the town is still based out of. They did have another fire that destroyed some of the downtown back in the late 70s. But what's really interesting, I think, also about Ash Fork is it's also considered to be the flagstone capital of the U.S. In fact, it's still one of the top industries in Ash Fork today is still that flagstone. And when the railroad came through, it gave them more of a way to export that and to become a thriving community. And with the railroad, of course, it brought a Harvey House. They had Escalante. And so it was a really grand Harvey House, which had a dining room and Harvey Girls. And then Route 66 came through, and this hotel served the railroad and all those folks traveling on the highway. But, you know, as Route 66 went through some modifications and actually became a divided highway, they had to expand, and they actually lost a lot of businesses in Ash Fork with that expansion. And by the late 40s, Escalante had closed down. But because of it being on Route 66, they still have a big bit of tourism, which is right there. I mean, this is a little bit of that Escalante Hotel that is still there, you can see. They do play heavily upon the Route 66 history. In fact, here is what is currently a beauty shop called DeSoto's that has a early 60s DeSoto on top of it. It was originally a Texaco station. And supposedly there is word on the street that Elvis Presley at one point drove that car. I wasn't able to find out what the circumstances were and why was he driving that car, but that's the story, and I'm going to stick right to it. So remember, if you have any stories, suggestions, or any images that you think we should talk about, the best, as I said, the best way I get information a lot of times are just from people who said, hey, you know, I've got something really cool. That's actually how I first learned about Glenn Guyette, the sign designer who painted my jacket. His daughter came up to me during one of my shows and said, hey, you know, you would probably enjoy meeting my dad. And oh my gosh, what fun we've had. So also I work with ASU and Phoenix Pride with the Arizona LGBT History Project as we start looking at how do we make that LGBT history more accessible and preserving it. And actually this month is Pride Month. So we'll actually be doing, there we go. Next week, we actually have Pussy LaHoot, who is a seasoned performer here in Arizona, a drag queen who's been around for a while. And so she's going to be on the show talking about her career and Phoenix. So I'm also part of the Arizona Vintage Sign Coalition. So we always get a chance to talk about signs. And I'm trying right now to actually get somebody from Casa Grande's Neon Park to come on and talk a little bit about kind of how that got formed and what people can expect. So if you would like to reach out, you can find me on Facebook. You can also reach me through email at hello@hiphistorian. If you'd like to help support the show, you can do that with Venmo at Marshall Shore. And that's also at the very top of the screen. And Nick, I see your question about does Arizona have a 6C now? You know, depending on who you talk to, yes, I've heard it could be construction. Being on the Fabric Foundation, we've talked about how clothing is the next C. I've also heard how computers could easily be the next C. So I think there's a lot of options of what that C could be in the future. So we're going to have a fun time next week with Pussy LaHoot. Now, you can also help support this program. And I want to say thank you to all of you that have helped support this, as well as AARP, who is a sponsor of this. The coronavirus continues to affect us all. We may be apart, but we are not alone. AARP is here in Arizona, providing information that can help you and your family. To find out more information about AARP and that assistance, you can go to their website, which is www.aarp.org/AZ. And you can find information about them right there. So, again, thank you all so much for coming out and learning a little bit about Junior League. Oh my gosh, so much fun. And I love how every show, it's never just a one-way street about one person sharing. It's we all get to learn about things. I mean, and Blair and Jenny, thank you so much for being on this week and sharing the rich history of Junior League and what they've done in Phoenix and how they have helped really preserve this city that we know and love. Oh, and Nick, I see your shout out about Third Sunday. I haven't heard from Valley Bar yet. I'm going to reach out to them and see if we are still doing our History Underground. So I will let you know. That's why if you'd like to know more, please hit me up on Marshall Shore Hip Historian on Facebook, and we can keep you in the loop on all the stuff that's going on. There's some other exciting stuff coming up as well. So we'll let you all know what's going on. And thank you all so much for being here and spending some time with us as we get a chance to learn about this great place we're in. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your evening.